it looks like we've got a Joker ban and an Atomic Ivy ban.
Oh, Joker and Ivy? Who's getting Flash?
I don't know. It's getting crazy right now.
It doesn't matter.
Apparently, it looks like KGO is more afraid of the Lord of Atlantis than they are the fastest man alive.
Which is kind of surprising, considering that the Lord of Atlantis is not very fast.
That's true. He swims pretty quick, though.
Yeah.
So anyway, let's talk about this. We've got Flash running circles around the Lord of Atlantis, clowning him left and right. Be like, which way did he go? Which way did he go? Oh, I'm over here, son. Oh, take that Speed Force to the junk. Hurts, doesn't it?
Yeah, he would say that if he didn't have a trident sticking out of his neck and his blood's all gurgling like...
Oh, that's rough.
Because he can't breathe because Lord of Atlantis just stabbed his bitch
Yeah, but
ass.
this is the thing. You get Nightmare Bats over on spaghetti. Oh, what's that? That's some blood? I love the way that it hits the sweet spot. And now it's time to eat some sweet Atlantean comboed with a little bit of that ridiculous Star Sapphire.
Yo, don't be talking about her. She has a disease, a parasite. Oh. And that parasite kills anyone who comes in her way. Oh. That being Nightbat.
Oh, I thought you were going to say herpes.
Whoa. Whoa.
Sorry. Trying to keep this PG.
Yeah, that is.
But anyway, it doesn't matter because Zatanna's got the cure. She says herself backwards and it goes away. She turns her into a bunny. She turns that fat man into a bunny too. A really big bunny with a big fat belly. What is he going to do? When he throws his little carrot at you, oh, it doesn't blow up then. And Zatanna just closes you out with that poke, that siege. She has it. Whatever you want.
You know what he's going to do? He's going to release his rats. They're going to run all over Zatanna. She can't escape a horde of rats. You kidding me? She's like this prancy little girl who's like, oh, I'm afraid of mice.
That's true. I guess that's fair. But that's when you look to default on Gaspat, the character he's had for 3. This is the 3rd one of these games. He just hits his little gadget belt, turns up the sound, those rats' brains turn to jello, and he's like, oh, that's right, fat man, it jiggles, it hurts, doesn't it? But that's fine. We've got that green arrow running around, rolling around like, you have failed this city. Let's be clear here. No one's failed anything.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Complexity has failed this city.
Bold claims, bold claims. And again, we see that chainsaw matchup with that Catwoman. Easy, looking good on Catwoman mechanics, just in general. We're going to see how this pans out. I'm hoping we see an easy telekinetic top lane that really shows that pressure and shows what we see in terms of the 1v1 matchup for 2 of the most mobile characters in our game.
I'm all about that. While we're waiting for them to load in the game, let's talk about some of their stolen powers. Looks like KGO is taking a couple of teleports, and that's going to hurt Complexity because they have 1.
Yeah, that's true. I guess it's going to be really fascinating to see because Spaghetti has basically been Arc-Jail this entire time. We're going to see what he does with Nightbats. I mean, in many ways, it's possible in what he does with Nightbats, it will actually show people how to beat his Arc-Jail. Because we're going to see if he chooses to farm before he actually hits 6 for the harder ganks, or if he manages to parlay early lane pressure into a significant lead based off confirming a kill. And when you look at that team comp, that Complexity has on the table right now, I think the ones you need to keep an eye on are Zatanna.
Yeah, Platypus.
And Flash.
I agree with that 100%.
Because both of them have the ability to slow the opponent, which means the overall damage contribution the Nightbats brings to the table, combined with that, with Flash's or Zatanna's ability, might push them over the top.
That's fair. That's fair. I do think that that Gas Joker is going to have his, a match cut out for him in this ring. This ring we call Gotham Divided. He's throwing dirty hams, though, and he is a dirty mofo. Dirty. He's from the dirty South, and he knows. He knows how this rolls out. Look at him. That green hams and bacon. He doesn't care. He just hangs out over to that self field, runs over to the other side, looks around at that sweet, sweet gaslight swag, and then just runs right to the middle with the yoga pants. He doesn't care. He's a large man. He knows he's working with it. Starfire bottom this time. Going to try and hold that Platypus in check. And we see a lady fight down bot. I guess which one they're arguing over which one has tighter pants. Are you talking about Gasbat or Arrow? Neither. Oh. Well, it's all right. Either way, you look at how this matchup pans out, and we can kind of see it. It looks like we've got Zatanna right around bot with, Platypus, again, clearly on the controller role. More of a facilitator for the playmaking the default will actually have to bring to bear. We have telekinetic again in the top lane,
and we're going to see how this all pans out. Again, Telekinetic has won his lane so dominantly that the Raider has been called each and every time to the top when Complexity has been on the field. And when we look at KGO, KGO definitely had a hard time with Vex. I mean, we saw them struggle. They were behind in credits for a period of time, and I want to go on the record that this guy, me, said at the beginning KGO was going to win that match. People didn't believe me, and they brought it home. So we're going to see what happens this time around. And actually, we see the more traditional start. This is the same Field Team 6 start that we saw from the bottom lane of Platypus and Default, just basically taking that early lead before the drones get to lane. But now we get to see Blue Freeze work his magic. Now, for those of you who don't know, Blue Freeze has been rocking Flash solo queue for a while. No one wants to play against Blue Freeze's Flash. No one. And it's really, really interesting to me to see what GS is going to bring to bear against that Flash with the Lord of Atlantis. I mean, that orange shirt, those green tights, they look sweet and all, but let's see, when that power armor Flash decides to run through there, give you a little trades and some punches in the mouth, I don't know, that orange shirt's going to be able to hold you together.
Oh! Arrow putting the hurt on early.
And that's what we expect.
Default.
So, Arrow so strong early game, and if they can't win this lane early, then they're going to have some serious problems. And the fact they actually sent Default back tells me that they are incapable of applying the pressure that very few other people have been able to apply in the early game with Arrow.
Looks like Nightbat's up top already early game, and Catwoman already went back as well. Telekinetic is laying that top lane down.
Laying that pipe, as only Atomic Wonder Woman can.
It's hard. It's easy for her. She can cut straight through that street with that chainsaw.
Right, she doesn't care. She's like, what? Oh, I'm an Amazon. Where do you think these ties come from? Pipes are cut. Oh, dog.
I thought you were going to say heads she cut off.
Oh, yeah, it's both.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, we saw that top-bottom exchange. You have those EMPs, both sides. That puts both of them in a place where they can actually use some turret and tower dives if they really need to. But again, it's really going to come down to the strength of the laning phase right now. So again, in the bottom, things are a little hectic. We're definitely seeing Arrow, who really is early strong. He's got 100 credit lead, roughly, on Default right now. Default has come back to lane. He's basically topped off. We're going to see what he can do in terms of this one. I mean, it's going to be really, really fascinating to see how Supreme works a controller sub-role on Star Sapphire. I mean, that harass is very strong, but she's very, very squishy. I mean, let's be clear here. When you're wearing a suit that tight, there's no room for armor.
Is there?
Well, I guess there would be. Oh, she managed to pull that Bonds of Love. Does a little more damage to Platypus. Platypus responds with a 2-skill combo on that one, and Default is just basically making her pay for that. 3 unanswered shots. Oh, easy.
Telekinetic taking some damage
easy,
right here.
making it look easy. We're going to see how this pans out. Telekinetic manages to make it. Oh, but he ends up eating a little bit of damage, and can Easy close him out?
No.
Don't say it too soon. And there we have it. Telekinetic's 0 deaths from last game. That streak is finally been broken.
That's 100% more right now.
No, I guess it's infinite more.
Oh.
That's how math works, bro.
Oh.
Learn. Love.
If you add 1 on top of 0, though, it's just...
Yeah.
So 100.
You can try and justify it. It's cool.
No.
So, no, here we are.
Back to the action.
Right, back to that action. We see on the bottom lane again. Default, it's looking... Has he closed that gap a little bit? No, he has not. That gap has actually only gotten larger. It's a little bit over 100 credits. Again, not a big deal, but we in Infinite Crisis, as you can see, we're about much more aggression in terms of this. So when those people fall back to their turrets, they tend to make purchases, and those purchases will make them tougher. So earlier on, you typically see 2 things out of these high-tier teams. You see either sustain, as people decide right up front to either purchase more things that actually deal more lifesteal, either power lifesteal or attack damage lifesteal. A 3v3 in the bottom lane. Surprisingly, that was a very similar gank to what we saw used against Complexity. So we saw Nightbat come out, be incapable of actually sealing any deal, and when you actually look at the credit differential between Spaghetti versus Salty Kai, it's a 300 difference in favor of Spaghetti. Now, this 3v3 inherently is going to work in Complexity's favor because their jungler, who's capable of getting these power-ups and getting this tier 2 EMP, clearly ahead.
So this is where they, KGO last game had trouble completing the objectives in the bottom lane because their jungler didn't even stay to help them with those EMP robots.
Well, in this case, I think that was a good choice because they knew at that point in time, you saw 3 in the EMP pit. At that point in time, they've been there for an undetermined amount of time. This 1v1, this duel up top, Blue Freeze is inherently, it gets a little bit of the better deal there. We see it right now. Again, Blue Freeze, cojones, his huevos are huge. You look at him buying that logos because he just does not care. He knows. He's like, look, my job here is to apply pressure 24/7, nonstop. This is why I'm really excited when I see him on Flash.
And there's the mistake
but right now,
there.
this is the mistake. Oh, the fastest man alive. Can he actually make the distance?
No.
Trident in the bum.
Looks like Flash just got his legs tangled in a figure 4 leg lock, and he tapped out. Lord of Atlantis style.
Oh.
Done. Blue Freeze having a tough go at it this game.
Yeah.
Comparatively to last.
Oh, that's true. But this shows you that KGO has come meaning business. We're seeing them have a hardship, and we have a teleport in
coming
off the side. The fat man comes out of nowhere, scares Platypus over to the side with that green ham and eggs. And wait, what happens? It was a teleport. Was not converted at all into any form of real substantial damage or kill. This actually is a big win for Complexity. You figure they took a stolen power out of their repertoire and basically forced the other team to not be able to convert it to anything of any real note. And if you actually look at our timeline at the top, you can see that it looks like the EMP drones are about to come back online. The Upper Destroyer one is soon. And you look at GS up there solo, but this actually means the Telekinetic, fully healed, is going to be able to come back and apply a significant amount of pressure up top, whereas GS, on the other hand, the resource is a little more tapped, just because of the presence being there for a period of time.
I do want to state, though, that teleport in also made Zatanna burn her stolen power as well. She burned that invulnerability.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, you're right. That was a stolen power for a stolen power trade. Again, not horrible, but it was also a failed gank. And I feel like that is an important thing to keep in mind when you look at Spaghetti at 2300 versus Salty Kai, who's at 1900. And I think that's okay. I mean, when you actually look at their relative builds, the Fat Man can generally be effective for a little bit cheaper, just based off of his purchases, off his health. But it looks like Spaghetti.
Looks like locking
and
it
they
down.
locked that locked-in load. Slap it up and flip it. Rub it down. Oh no!
Suplex. Power bomb.
Yeah, closed out. And those yoga pants looking good. Right there on the ground. Admire that view.
It's gonna be there quite often.
Oh, you think so?
With yes.
That's true. I mean, the way if he can confirm that every single time you see Nightmare Batman's ultimate off cooldown, you need to consider he's coming out of nowhere to murder you.
Every 90 seconds, in someone's blood.
Most
likely, mid or top.
Duct tape stretched out. Right now, what we are seeing is, wow. That's very, very impressive. And when you really think about it, GS is doing a phenomenal job. So right now he's got a 500 credit lead on Blue Freeze. Blue Freeze, as a result, they had to deploy the actual health power-up into his lane to basically make sure the GS couldn't actually just shove him out. Now, if you see another gank come out of this,
right there,
it's going to be bad. But no one saw that. Oh, he tried to get those dunks. And the Fat Man comes back out. Let's see if he can confirm that. The Jukes, the fastest man alive doesn't care for your fatness, bro. He's just punching you in the bum. What are you going to do about that? Nothing. Oh,
he's going to slow down is what he's going to do.
And, oh my gosh, Telekinetic comes down to try to get that sweet, sweet kill steal, but is incapable of sealing the deal. And Default, hanging out down bottom, just taking a little arrow to the chest. He doesn't care. He's still back in that action. Now, you look at that Default breakdown. You figure Default as a whole, he's holding strong at about 1800.
Yep.
And you look at Arrow. Arrow is ahead of him by around 500 credits. Now, this is a big deal because at that point in time, you're talking about a Coda Blade purchase. You're talking about a tier 1 or a tier 2 of a mid-level item that can basically mean you win trades. Now, when you consider that, and also consider the sustain game that you see most people making, this means that Arrow, as long as he actually hits people for those trades, will be able to make sure Default fails this city.
I see what you did there.
Yeah.
Also, you got to look at the supports they have bottom lane with them. With Supreme at only 1,700 credits. Then on the other side, Platypus at 1,900 credits. Almost 2,000, actually. And that is the start of a good item, too.
Yeah, and I think what you're seeing is a little bit of preloading. So what you're seeing happening is, obviously in Infinite Crisis, we basically make sure that you share the credits based off your proximity. And I think what you're seeing from the Supreme is he's deliberately trying to front load those credits to basically force more efficacy onto Green Arrow. And he's basically taking that gamble, knowing full well that he, on the other hand of his basic abilities, will still be effective just based off the CC that Star Sapphire brings to the table. I mean, with her Bonds of Love and her summoning the Predator, that gives her an AoE route, similar to the ability to actually be able to to pull people to another nearby opponent and basically just pull them together. Now, that won't matter in terms of damage, because if she has no credit, she can't buy anything of any real use, but she'll still be able to use her CC. It's really just a question of whether or not that means as much, because when you look at the Zatanna structure, Zatanna, on the other hand, is doing very, very well. I mean, Zatanna has 2100 versus frequencies.
Every 90 seconds.
Yeah, and there we have it. Every 90 seconds, he's converting that. And this is exactly what you should be seeing from a person who plays Nightmare Batman with sufficient vision. And they basically just converted that into a 2-for-0 trade. And that's off of smart pick, patience, virtue. You know how we do it. This is honor. This is
and
the
power
moves.
from the top rope.
No, that's true. You climb on that ladder, you give the guns to the crowd, you do the diamond, and then you drop that hammer.
Drop it hard.
Yeah.
I'm going to say right now, Complexity got 99 hammers, but a bitch ain't one.
Oh, I guess that's true. That is true. It's pretty clear. I mean, they basically handled Catwoman, so they showed that wasn't a problem.
It was pretty actually amazing that Catwoman avoided the gank that came top for her and then rolled bottom to try and counter gank. Didn't actually make it.
Oh, the whip. You must like it. Whip it good. And then she just basically throws that bad kitty. And, oh my gosh, one more. And scene. That's
Telekinetic.
it. I don't know.
Still doing well.
Maybe a bitch is one.
Ooh, that hammer.
You got to keep that in mind. And also we got Star Sapphire. Constant nuisance. Just using the crystal, using the predator, basically just doing a good level of consistent harass. I mean, we basically have the bottom lane shoved out, which means they have ownership of any EMP creatures that's gone.
You would think so, but they haven't been able to get an EMP lately. I'm pretty sure that the EMPs have been going to red team almost entirely.
And that's just the denial action, because again, you can only really stack something to about two levels for EMPs. And there we have it. We saw the creature. We saw the predator called. Can they convert this into a kill on Zatanna?
No.
No.
Predator's still dealing damage.
And I think that might have been a basic misplay. Had he shot him with the time delay explosive device, that would have been enough to probably seal that deal. However, he chose instead
4 seconds. Too late. Needed a little bit more time, and he could have secured that.
That's right. Now, Spaghetti basically tried for a little bit of a kill there. You notice he still didn't use his ult. Question is whether or not he could use that ult to get the solo kill. He chose instead to just basically keep it so he could maintain the lane pressure. Now, we're going to see where Spaghetti has chosen instead take that top. They're basically going to deny that upper power-up in favor of getting the credits and the experience necessary to keep just shoving telekinetic to feed him. Because when you look at that, when you look at this is the first lane we've seen telekinetic behind, actually.
Yep.
And that's an important thing to keep in mind. I mean, I think some of that is Easy's play. I think some of that is Catwoman's passive, just based off every time she uses those skills, she pops out more coins and more credits. She grabs those, just that much more cash. And this is something you're going to see. It's very, very important for any collection mechanic she has, because when you see her decide that she's going to upgrade her Soul Taker. And wait, we have an engage, a surprise engage on Flash. Oh, he jukes that ult. He doesn't do any damage with it, but managed to not take the trident to the face. Instead, it looks like they're looking for Complexity, comes back down, and it looks like they decide to back off. Probably wisely. Probably very wisely. I mean, they would have been pushing that into maybe a 2v3 because Zatanna was a little far back in that position. And instead, we have this top lane again. And I'm not certain it's going Telekinetic's way. When you look at it, again, this goes back to early game character.
Yep.
Atomic Wonder Woman is an early game character. She cannot convert that into a victory early game. That does not necessarily mean good things for her mid or late. And right now, it looks like he's oh, but here it is again. Spaghetti has decided instead he probably got very, very little harassed there. I'm not exactly certain what he's doing right now, besides for just trying to make sure that Telekinetic, had he been in a position, was capable of actually engage.
He wants it. They got
and
it.
here we have it. This was the engage they were looking for.
Every 90 seconds.
Oh my lord, that was brutal. So those three people basically just showed her what did the five fingers say to the face?
What they just slap.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, but on the other hand, we've got Raider. So they decided to parlay this. This is great forward thinking from KGO. They decided immediately, okay, we're losing the top turret. We're going to convert this into a play on Raider. Now, Raider isn't going to get full credit value, as you can see, but on the other hand, they are going to get vision. Now, the question is, where are they going to deploy that vision? Because this is the thing. That vision will ultimately negate Nightmare Batman stealth. So when you consider that, and when you consider what you've seen in terms of Spaghetti here, look at his numbers. He is 2-0-5. Now you look at the overall kill rates for Complexity. They have 7 kills. This means that every single kill, Spaghetti has been a factor. This is going to be a massive benefit. And the fact that they placed it right there means they're trying to get maximum coverage. I don't necessarily know that will in fact reach the bottom lane, but it will certainly reach the top, which basically means the Lord of Atlantis may have a little bit of an easier time.
I actually feel like that's only going to reach, up to their...
That was a good engage by Supreme. And sadly, Supreme is the bunny. Oh, and another kill goes to Flash, the fastest man alive. That's not where you want it. It's not where you want it at all. It looks like they're going to invert this. This rotation was very slick of them.
And a middle attack, too.
They're going to take some damage. They're going to force... But no, they don't. They actually do not convert it into an actual turret.
But they got middle.
Important. They do. But at the same time, they've actually forced... they forced Flash to go back. We're going to see what he picks up. Oh, but it looks like the Fat Man wants a little piece of this. He's going to try to chase the fattest man, or the fastest man alive.
Looks like Catwoman's in trouble, though.
Yeah, Catwoman is definitely not in a good place. And it does not look... It looks like a Bad Kitty is up, though, so you're seeing a lot of tumbling. The question is whether or not between Spaghetti and Telekinetic they can actually get there. Now, to be clear, Spaghetti has his ultimate. The question is, can they slow him down enough? And it doesn't look like it. Someone's going to eat a Trident, and it looks like Easy is home free.
Oh, no, they're going to
Oh, my
fight
gosh,
this out.
he gets a little greedy, decides to get a little whip crack, and instead gets it. Now, we saw GS decided to use his ult on Telekinetic, maybe a misclick, because I think that would have confirmed, he would have confirmed that in Spaghetti, but now we have Telekinetic. We're going to see if his jump is next, and he got knocked down in his face. Oh, my lord! That was, and he had to blow the ultimate, but that was a very, very important play. So that what you see is Catwoman's greed maybe got the best of her. She decided to get one more whip crack, and that basically made them go 0 for 2.
She wanted that gold.
That's sweet, sweet cash money.
She's stealing it. She is a thief.
That's true. You know, that's fair. I mean, I respect that. I ain't saying she's a gold digger. I'm just saying.
But she ain't going for no...
Wait, what? Oh, so anyway.
Broke people.
Right. Broke fellows of different persuasion. So here we are again. We've got Flash basically holding his lane, doing very, very well. Now, if we can bring up those gold totals just a little bit more, just so we can kind of look at them real quick. So we have Blue Phrase. He is hanging out strong at 55-45. This is very important when you actually look at where we are. We're 17 minutes in the game. Now, you look at him versus the Lord of Atlantis. He has turned his 400 to 500 deficit around to a near 1,200 credit in his favor. Now, this is exactly where you don't want to be against the fastest man alive. Because that dude, once he starts looting, he starts super looting. And no one needs that.
He can run all over your face.
Right. He's just like, oh, what's that? Oh, mine. Oh, what's that? That's mine, too.
He was like, oh, I think I saw a championship belt somewhere. Putting that on.
Right.
Hold these britches up.
Yeah, and this is it. I mean, really right now, the most underfarmed person on this team is really Platypus, but Platypus and Default, I mean, they're really not where you want it to be. So, I mean, you really consider it.
In trouble.
And here we have it. Here we have it coming in. We've got Flash trying to get away.
Fat Man lands the ham.
Smashes it right in the wall, but the Fat Man, can he confirm? Can he confirm? And he does. They managed to get that pick very, very cleanly off on the fastest man alive. That puts them in a very bad place. Now, Telekinetic, on the other hand, now it's a 5v4, and we're going to see what team objective we see come out of KGO in order to make this worthwhile.
Doesn't look like they're going to get any team objectives right now.
And that right there shows, it kind of shows exactly how strategic Complexity has been in this model. They've made sure to strip most of the locations out, and really, we're not seeing any action. Like, we're not seeing any rotations down to siege a major objective. So what just happened there is we've got a 5,000 credit difference between each team, but this game is significantly closer than any game we've seen in Complexity so far. And again, I feel like KGO has shown, just based off composure and how they basically conducted themselves against Vex, they have the capability. I mean, they're not going to break. They're not going to stop. Can't stop, won't stop. And we can see it right here. There's GS just waiting. We're going to see. Another one, and we're going to see if we see the dunks from downtown. He doesn't want it. He doesn't want it.
I don't think he has enough will. He doesn't want to follow up and not be able to complete it.
Yeah, that's it. He's scared. He's scared. Oh my! Oh!
Catwoman completing it,
that was a big deal. Easy.
Signed, sealed, and delivered.
Making it look pretty. Making it look pretty. He slapped that up and flipped it.
Oh wait, we hear it comes.
Oh my! Oh my!
Escapes.
That's it. That was very impressive. Not only did he get an ultimate out of that, but at the same time, he got style points. He totally clowned her.
It's amazing though that with all the pressure that KGO has been putting on bottom, they just lost their turret.
Yeah, and that kind of says a lot. That just tells me that the overall period of time they spent sieging, they were just more effective all the time they spent. Now, when you look at the top, that top pressure is very similar. So when you look at the actual credit totals, while Complexity does in fact look like they are ahead, they in fact just have more static objectives.
That does not look good.
That was a very, very clean 2-for-0 exchange.
And Raider.
Yeah, and right, so that means Vision in addition to team credit. And at this point in time, the Raider is at full value. So what you're seeing is a Raider that is in fact worth as much as a tier 2 turret. And that is something to keep in mind when we look at what KGO chooses to do from this one. So look at those credit totals. They managed to chisel away at that 5K lead. It is now more like 2.3K. And that means that's a big, big difference in terms of this. Because momentum is not only on their side, but Blue Freeze has no respect for that.
Baiting right there.
He's just baiting. B for bait. That's what we do. He presses that B, and he just baits left and right. Fastest man alive with a glowing midsection.
Yeah.
But it's fine.
He has a problem down there. I think he spent some time with Star Sapphire.
Wow. I guess that's fair. I mean,
she does have a disease.
Did he use any protection? Well, apparently not. Telekinetic.
He's the fastest man alive. He didn't think he needed it.
Telekinetic with that solo kill. We have 2 solo kills. Now, solo kills are very important because that means you're not splitting the credits. Credits are spread evenly in Infinite Crisis. So if you get a solo kill, you actually are getting a significant amount more credits than you would otherwise. So I think at this point in time, we're talking almost 600. And it looks like another free kill in Telekinetic.
That time.
That is a big deal. Now, you saw Telekinetic solo kill Fat Man with that little chainsaw.
Yep.
We saw Telekinetic solo kill Yoga Pants with that chainsaw. And now you look at that cash, and you see him right now at 9.4.
And you see this turret dropping.
And you see this other turret dropping. Again, we've seen it. This is the cycle.
And you see this EMP also going.
More EMPs. So again, global pressure. And it's very, very odd to see how successful they are doing this, even without the aid of ArcGL's unwanted welcome.
Deny the black.
Look at all of those. Look at all of those surveillance devices. Apparently, someone wanted to see an empty Raider pit.
I think what it is they didn't want to get jumped while they were in there.
Oh, that makes sense.
They got really scared.
Scared.
Yeah.
That's the perfect pronunciation.
Scared. They got really scared, and they were like, no, please don't powerbomb me. I don't want to be suplexed. No figure 4 leg locks.
No one needs
Get out of here.
A chair from the darkness?
Yeah.
Blah. And next thing you know, you're on the ground raising your forehead.
No one wants to be thrown into the crowd.
Right. Exactly. I mean, really, from the top rope, that's enough.
Yeah. It's also embarrassing.
That is true.
Back to the game.
All right, so that run-on is what you're going to start seeing from Flash now. Because, like, we have yet to break the 10K barrier. But, again, every single time, it looks like KGB pulls a little bit closer complexity through shrewd decision-making and just converting damage into actual... into actual team objectives, has managed to pull ahead. Now, you saw them using speed there. They're just basically just trying to race from objective to objective.
Look at this, stealing it.
Just looting, super looting, as I was saying before.
They don't even care about that health
They don't
bump.
even care. They just leave it there. Hey, complexity was here. They always take it spray tag that stuff. We're in your base, stealing your stuff.
That's something to think about.
That is, actually, that's a feature that I might want to consider.
Yeah, Counter-Strike style.
Counter-Strike, I'm in your base, stealing your stuff.
Yo, killed you.
Yeah, hey. Yeah, that'd be good. So now that we've talked about tagging corpses and tagging locations, here we have it. We've got, it looks like we actually have what is a 5v4 mid. Now, and near bottom,
that is
it. Exactly what you didn't want. Now, that AMP basically shuts down that turret for 8 seconds based off that tier 2 80s. They basically zoned the other team, converted them to 1 more kill, 2 more kills, and now they're going to basically get a free pull off that turret. Now, I hope that was worth it for Green Arrow.
Who got nothing.
Who got really... Well, no, he might have he got some farm.
No turret down there, though.
But you really have to consider the pressure that you were capable of bringing to bear. Again, this game's about aggression. And what we're seeing right now is Complexity has embraced that, and they are basically applying that liberally to Head and Shoulders.
I'm also going to say, this game is also about that championship belt. And who wants to wear it more? The lady with ties around her waist? I think so.
It's true. Or the lady with tight yoga pants. I mean, again, we've seen some top tier play here, and this has been pretty great. I mean, you look at what each team has really brought to bear, even just in the laning phase, and how they're both basically trying to transition them into that mid game. And I don't really know what to say about it. I mean, we're definitely getting that tier of late. I mean, you can see it definitely in Telekinetic. I mean, Telekinetic is probably around 5K away from a full build. Now, with that in mind, especially at this tier where you can see more objectives falling and more, just more things that's worth more
Pinging
cash.
for help from Catwoman, but she didn't notice until late.
Yeah, Catwoman had stuff to do. It looks like Telekinetic is maybe looking, no ult, and that's the end of it. He's going to try to double hop. That was very good with his full rev.
Makes it away with Zatanna's help.
Platypus, right there. The question is whether or not Platypus is going to be able to cover that distance.
Nope. That distance is being closed by that fat man.
No, and that was a very, very pro green eggs and ham toss, and that was all she wrote. Dr. Seuss would be proud about that fat man. Killing babies since early in the Gaslight era. I don't know what to say. But either way, he just took the candy from a baby, and now we're going to see them try to turn this into a top-tier turret.
What baby?
What? That was... Dude,
Zatanna's a baby?
Zatanna, my baby.
Oh, all right. Your baby.
Yeah.
Damn.
Right. So here we have it. We see. Are we going to see a turret exchange? I don't think so. I think right now
we are going to see Flash, though.
Oh, whether or not we have Flash decide.
He wants it.
Oh, he doesn't. He doesn't want it that badly.
He
decides instead to just basically proxy that lane spawn and see if later on they can maybe turn that into an actual siege.
Which makes sense. But
That
just so you
seems wise.
know,
KGO wisely decides to not push that top, by the way. They decided to recall right there.
anyone who wants that belt, they dive those turrets.
They take it because they want it. Gotta get it. Sadly,
Get it.
that was actually the fact that they recalled basically means they converted the kill to Zatanna, and the other team basically took a turn for that. And that was ultimately a trade, another trade in Complexity's favor.
Looks like Red's going for Raider, pinging for it.
No, but here we are. So you look at it, it's a 4v5 around Raider right now because Zatanna is very, very far out on top of the map. The question is, what's going to happen here? Are they going to keep fleeing? Both teams are super, super mobile. Question is whether or not Default can get away. Now you look at Default.
Flash is going to teleport back to base. He doesn't care about his team right now. He's like, oh, there's still a turret there that'll help me out. And it will help them out.
And it will. That was enough. Now the question is whether or not they choose to contest this. Now they have that option. They can push right back in, but Flash is very, very far in position, and it looks like Zatanna just comes down around the corner. Platypus decides that he's going to do some damage to Supreme. Supreme is very, very underfarmed, but it does not matter. It looks like the damage was there, but they choose to re-engage right off of that. Can they convert that? It is now a 2 for 0?
It is.
No, a 2 for 1 at this point in time, and we can see these exchanges working out. 2 for 3, and that was. But you have to look at who the kills were on. Now you look at it. You have the support and the enemy jungler, or by that I mean the person who's chosen to be the light controller, and this is a deliberate choice because, in all fairness, Star Sapphire is really very, very potent as a blaster. She's chosen to be played as a controller for this model so that she can hang out with the Fat Man. Whereas on the other hand, you see the marksman, you see the enemy controller, and you see the enemy jungler, basically just running amok now. So we're going to see a little more pressure. And
we're also seeing Spaghetti crack that 10K with telekinetic.
And he's going to basically try to blind them a little bit. This is a 2v1. Now the question is whether or not Spaghetti... No. Spaghetti has no ultimate, so we cannot actually engage off the Fat Man. But now it's a 3v1, and that's it, blinded. So this is important. They've basically taken a good amount of vision away from KGO. Now this puts them in a bad place for the next Raider spawn, because they will have no ability to see exactly how many members of Complexity are there, and unless they manage to convert it into a pick that goes into basically a power play, they might have some trouble just with general vision in that area.
Looks like they're going to get another EMP though.
Yeah, Spaghetti's doing a very good job. I mean, again, you look at it overall, the thing that Nightbats brings to the table is not only his insane ganking potential, but additionally his clear times. Like, this is something which I feel that people sometimes forget. They're completely enamored of how many times you can get the picks, when in reality, his ability to just overall clear is very, very strong. I mean, he has now a 3K difference between the two of them, and some of that is team objectives, absolutely. It looks like Default is just trying to farm from the distance, and he decides to get in a little bit on that one. Again, he splits that credit value. So now the question is whether or not Spaghetti is going to be able to confirm this and onto Supreme, and it looks like it.
Yes.
Those tights are not very protecting.
No. That definitely has no place to hide armor.
No means no, but apparently Spaghetti don't go.
Yeah, well, he's dead anyway.
Yeah, that's true. So here we are mid again, and we can kind of see that Complexity is just more or less hemming people in. Like, there's a lot of static team objective on the field. When you actually look at Complexity's turrets, you figure there are 5 turrets of Complexity's up that I've yet to actually pulled from. And when you consider that versus the fact that only the dampeners are up for KGO, this means that when you look at that 10K difference, you have to consider that given where they are, and given the fact they easily converted that, again, a 2-pick converted to a 5v3, and really a 5v1, because it was really only the Fat Man who was there. They got a pick on the Lord of Atlantis. It looks like Spaghetti is actually going to pay for that, though. And the question is whether or not Complexity is going to be able to disengage. There was an attempt to get the Predator to lock down Default. Default, again, Gaslight, one of the most mobile marksmen we have in terms of large distances that he can cover off that grappling hook. It means that he basically just gets in the way, and that leaves them with really nothing. Basically just lost a dampener and a 1-for-1 trade.
Yep.
And
lost some objectives in their own jungle.
Yeah, and that's it. So, I mean, Complexity's going to go back. We're going to see them spend a bit. They basically increased that lead a little bit. And again, not much. It's still about 10K. But the question is where that cash is going. So, like, the good news for them, I feel, the thing that's really working out well for them, is that the Aquaman Flash early game worked out well for them. However, in this stage, the fastest man alive is like a clock. I mean, he's just a ticking time bomb ready to explode. And right now, you see him, he's about to break that 10K barrier. You look at those items. Oh. He's got Pandoras. He's got Neurons.
Ease.
He's got the Star Heart. And
that was
there we have it.
Easy.
There we have it. Telekinetic.
Heads are rolling.
With those sweet, sweet, sweet KSs.
If I could right now, I'd play some yeah-yeah-yeahs. Heads will roll.
Yeah,
Just saying.
That's good. Wow, look at that! Look at that clear from Blue Freeze. I think he's finally started to hit his own in terms of his actual power damage, and that means that at this point in time, he's going to start farming like a monster, and that doesn't bode well at all for KGO because again, the Flash is a monster late game in terms of his ability to basically pick and choose the nature of where an engage will happen. I mean, really, all they can hope for is they actually. I mean, the normal foil for Flash is either Zatanna or Nightbat, and both of them are on complexity.
Yep.
So in this situation, I think we're gonna have some difficulties. I mean, obviously stasis could work, but even that, you can't deal any damage to the person's stasis. All you can do is reposition, and often the Flash picks and chooses where he wants to go.
That's very true. And you also have to earn that stasis.
Oh, that's true.
Leviathan doesn't come for free.
That's true.
You have to earn that. Much like you earn this championship belt that Spaghetti's trying to earn right now versus that Batman bottom.
You see a 3-level difference.
Oh, man. And it looks like Spaghetti is going to earn that.
Spaghetti doesn't care. He's just like, I'm going to take this dampener.
This dampener belongs
and
to
now
us.
I don't care. I'm going to... Oh! He got pushed right off, and that's what matters in that situation. So Spaghetti decides to exchange his life for the dampener, which in actuality may have been a very good trade. Now, this basically puts so much pressure on KGO now. They really have no ability to leave their base without sacrificing, without basically notifying the other team.
They caught Telekinetic in their hand, and his
Telekinetic tries to outrun, but you cannot outrun the spear.
Dunked.
Yeah.
Yo, how's that suplex feel?
Oh, backbreaker.
Yeah. Power bomb.
A little press slam.
Look at that disease right there. It's gross.
Oh.
Ugh.
Plus sized.
Parasite. Flash knows what I'm talking about, though.
Yeah, that's true. He lives with it every day.
Yep.
Not even the fastest man alive can outrun that.
Raider going down.
Yep. And we have more vision coming to complexity side.
It's hard to get. Ooh.
And there we have it.
KGO knows about it, though.
Oh, but KGO decides to come right back in. The question is, can they confirm?
Flash like, yo, those walls don't matter to me.
I'm the fastest man alive. I do what I want.
Oh, not so flat.
But it looks like Default might be in a bad place. Oh, my.
Oh, saved by the invulnerability.
Yeah, that's true. That was very,
But it's also going to hit Star Sapphire on the way across. What a good ult.
I bet you Default meant that.
He did.
Yeah, I mean, he all planned, calculated.
Yeah. Yep. He's like, I don't waste my moves.
Right. He's like, I know how this works out.
Like, I know how to make people tap out.
I make this rain every day. Every day. Hustling. That's what I'm thinking.
Spaghetti's like, I'm just waiting for this EMP. Just kidding. I don't want to wait that long.
Yep. So, as a result, we're kind of seeing it right now. Spaghetti has decided he's moved down the bottom. He's going to basically farm these drones out, make sure they can get a little more pressure on the bottom lane, because he knows that the fact the enemy dampener is down means that eventually when they choose to siege, the other team is going to have to split their focus because they can't just let those super drones just have their way in their base. Again, super looting. No one wants super looters in your base.
Never. Never. Look at Platypus trying to get some levels, trying to get some credits.
Yeah. He's trying to get paid.
Yo.
He's just like any other good champion.
A magician. Doing tricks.
She's like, I don't turn these tricks for free. Yeah.
They're illusions.
Oh, geez.
A trick is something a whore does for money.
Oh, my. And there he converts that into a kill.
Spaghetti doesn't even care.
Now, the question is whether or not Spaghetti cares at all about whether or not... Can he get these jukes?
Yes, he
can.
No,
he cannot.
Oh.
But that's still a one-for-one trade for pressure. And we can see it now.
Yeah,
KGO is trying to pull back because at the end of the result, the top lane is pushing in, and it looks like Default and Platypus are just shoving that in. Now, Default has managed to bridge this gap. You look at him, he's farming like a Monstar. He's 10k right now. He's still no 15k from kill stealing Telekinetic, but he's pretty close.
Oh, Telekinetic got those wings now.
Yes, he does. He doesn't care. He's got those troll robes.
Oh, Predator locking it down.
The Predator locks... Oh, my. The Predator locks down Platypus, and that's it.
Zatanna down for the count.
Those fishnets aren't enough to protect her from the beatdown.
Those tricks definitely did not work.
No. She's gonna have to go back. She's gonna have to go back to school. Learn a few more tricks.
You know what she should do? Hop into our collegiate tournament. $5,000 cash prize.
That's a good idea. I mean, again, and I guess that's an important one to note as well. I mean, if anyone of you are seeing things, you're just like, man, I can do that better. Be a contender. I can knock these fools out. You just think to yourself, maybe it's time to get in that collegiate tournament.
Sign up at our website, infinitecrisis.com.
That's true. So, here we are back to it again. We have 2 dampeners down for KGO, and we've got effectively a 12k credit lead in favor of complexity. Now, the question is whether or not we can see some late game synergies starting to erupt here. Now, when you look at the two teams, if I were to say who has the late game edge, I think I would have to say that it's kind of a push, because you look at complexity. Flash is clearly late game, but at the same time, Telekinetic is a much earlier game character.
Yes.
And whereas if you look at KGO, I mean, KGO in general has a fairly early game character in Green Arrow, but they don't, like, all the rest of them scale very well late, but none of them are predominantly late game.
Marksmen always scale well late.
Yes, that is very true. So, I mean, when you really consider that combined with the fact that the overall presence of just who's doing what in terms of map control, I feel like Complexity is basically just circling things. And they're just waiting for that time where they can finally push an area and strike. I mean, the dampeners have come back, but when dampeners come back, they are inherently lowered in health. This means they're going to be much easier to take, and it means they are more susceptible to a more split push strategy or just more opportunity strategy. Now, I'm surprised that we haven't seen... Have we? Again, I don't believe that we've actually seen a Leviathan run from either team.
Nope. I don't think any team wants to risk it right now.
Right.
There's a lot on the line.
They're afraid of that breakdown. And I really feel like Complexity would ultimately want to do that just based off the poke. I mean, again, the Lord of Atlantis has great poke. And every single time they choose to come back in there between Lord of Atlantis and Star Sapphire, they're taking unneeded harass that they really can get away with. Now, Zatanna, on the other hand, very good on her own, but we're still seeing a bit of a split push here, and we're going to see, in terms of duelists now, who really has the edge. Now, Blue Freeze potentially could 1v1 the Lord of Atlantis, but I don't think, and I think GS knows that.
I think he does. I think he knows that if Blue Freeze gets the first hit, that game's over for him.
Yep.
Just like
we
right
just saw
now.
That hard engage right there off the bunny.
Oh, survives it. Oh!
The fadeaway, but it's still a 1-for-1. You see controller for controller exchange, and now we get the Fat Man coming back in. The question is this where he wants to be?
And he sees Spaghetti top.
He does, but does he really want to try to convert into him? I don't think so. I think that's a very unwise pull for them. They are out of their dampener's range, and that puts them into a place where if they get flanked, it could be very bad for them. Again, Green Arrow, another great poke character. More than capable of applying pressure from a great distance where you really can't hit him back. So when you actually consider all of those, there it is. Looks like Blue Freeze is going right back in for more vision and just more cash money. This is got to get paid.
Spaghetti's like, I want something too. What can I do? Just gonna run around, be cool.
Yeah, that's right. Look at those wings. They look pretty sweet, don't they?
They do. I actually like the armor he's wearing right there. Yeah. Looks pretty badass.
He does look like a little Death Knight there. I mean, you look at those wings flapping in the breeze. It's very exciting. Look at him hiding. I am the knight. And then he just runs to the side. His arms all out.
Pretty sure he was born in the darkness.
Oh, that's true. He was born in the darkness.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
For the collegiate tournament, you can also sign up by emailing esports@infinitecrisis.com. esports@infinitecrisis.com. You and 4 friends win $5,000 and infamy for PAX East.
So a little break in the action. We saw Spaghetti actually rush back to the mid turret and basically purchase the armor.
Oh yeah.
So that he can in fact reflect incoming damage.
Yep.
And when you really think about what that means for him, it basically is he's decided the biggest threats in their team are really Catwoman and Green Arrow.
Yes.
And there we have it right there. We see a little ambush. It's clear. I believe that Salty Kai confirmed. I believe he actually moved into that area. He saw that the surveillance turret was there. So we're going to see if he actually managed to pull himself back out. But they know that Complexity has vision, a significant amount of vision in that area, and they're going to have to ask themselves, what are we going to do in terms of this one? Even after they engage this team fight, they're going to have to keep that in mind. And I think we're going to see if they manage to parlay any objectives otherwise. But again, more sieges.
Look at that ghost coming out.
We saw that Pandora come back out. And those dark spirits.
Released. Oh. I'm sorry. That was my bad when I gave you that email address earlier. It's actually esports@turbine.com to sign up for the collegiate tournament so you and your friends can live in infamy at PAX East. Oh, also, and win $5,000 if you're up for it.
No, I love it when a man owns an error.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's important things. If you actually want to get good at games, good at this game specifically, you need to own your mistakes.
Just like
look at that right there.
Just like
Spaghetti comes back in. Supreme
it.
was a little bit out of position, and then we have it. They just basically take that controller down, which basically takes out their hard engage. Now, we saw that health come back in. It actually seemed to erroneously miss the dampener, which means the complexity takes a lot more damage than they could have necessarily. If that had been one hair to the left, they could have taken that in, but they did a lot of damage. But now they're waiting for a drone wave while KGO heals up. Now, that was a fairly big misplay in terms of the setups, and in terms of what could have happened there. And I have to imagine Complexities must be feeling a little frustrated at this point.
Especially that Flash missed that ultimate that he laid down, too.
Yeah.
One person in it. If he had just gone a little bit deeper, he would have had it. And when you ult on Flash, you don't take turret damage. You become invulnerable.
Yep. And there goes Platypus, being caught a little bit out of position off a forcible 3-man engage. And that was just enough to basically make sure that this is going to become a KGO power play for a moment. Now, you look at those credits, and you look at where they're starting to even out now. Spaghetti is coming close to basically the credit limit in terms of efficacy. Telekinetic is already there. Now, when you look at KGO, I mean, this means that KGO is not even really close at this point in time, which means that over time, if Complexity doesn't manage to parlay this into a win, or some more dominant plays, the momentum is going to be on KGO's side. And that means that overall, that would showcase that KGO's team comp and their ability to team fight would in fact be superior to Complexities. Now, I'm not certain how this is going to pan out, given where things are. We're seeing a lot of Ra's al Ghul's robes coming back out, because they want to basically be able to do a prolonged team engage.
And it looks like they might even try for Leviathan. You saw it earlier on screen, pumping and thumping. But
when Leviathans are rocking, don't come a knocking, dog.
Yo, definitely. Especially by yourself. That Leviathan is one tough cookie to crack.
And to be clear, I'd be a little angry if you broke into my crib and I was, handling some business myself.
That's true. That's true.
Fair.
So it looks like KGO is still playing it safe, not really leaving their base. I know they got objectives that they could have had, but they chose not to get any. Like their health buff is up. They got I think they missed their speed buff. Oh no, they dropped it for themselves. Never mind. They did obtain the speed buff. Doesn't look like Star Sapphire though is going to be able to secure. Oh, she is going to drive him off this turret because everyone else came too.
Yep. And again, KGO is just playing a very, very defensive game. Now, keep in mind, I believe all of the dampeners have gone down at this point in time once.
Yep, once.
And that means that all of them have very, very much lowered health. Now, the real question, and this is why I think you're seeing KGO being so skittish, because they know the damage can be very real.
Here comes the saw.
And you see it right now. The Lord of Atlantis
not escaping.
Not going to escape. But the question is whether or not Spaghetti is going to be able to do so.
He is.
And he's got that Ra's al Ghul. We're going to see if he can manage to come back in. But I don't think it matters.
The entire team left to go help out.
Yeah.
But they lost their bottom dampener
and they basically
as well.
turned that dampener in. So that was basically one pick. So a 1-for-1 exchange. But that was a 1-for-1 of an assassin versus Complexity's jungler. But also just a free dampener.
Two free dampeners.
Oh, that's true. Bottom and top. So when you consider that, it's another thing important to remember. Oh,
Flash
that was
finishes at that time.
Another pick.
Star Sapphire ain't getting away.
Now,
Catwoman not getting away.
Is this the time that we're going to see it? Because right now we see a 4v3.
4v2.
4v2. Oh my. Yeah, I mean, we're going to see it right now. This middle dampener is not in a good place.
Went to go heal up, but he was gone for too long.
The question is whether or not it will matter. No, they can't convert that into an actual kill. And they tried to use the evil spirits.
Those Pandoras.
Yes, those Pandoras.
Stacking them.
But they actually, again, I think it was a bit late on that one, so they didn't manage to slow the fat man down. So he's a little fast for a fat man.
Yeah, it's true. They're going to go back, heal up, come back, and try and win that belt.
Yeah.
This belt.
Seal that deal off that open beta.
It's true. Also, this rivalry is real. These four teams that you saw in the semifinals and finals tonight, they are playing at PAX East. They'll be on live stream the entire weekend fighting for that $25,000. Also, if you win the collegiate tournament, you are then invited to that, right?
Yeah, absolutely you are. You will be there in contention with these teams, and you will have an advantage because those people will not see you play or have not seen you play. Whereas you have seen the tips and tricks that these people have brought to bear. So again, if you have some ideas on how you can innovate and what you can bring to the table, you will be there on the floor. The sleeper hit of PAX East.
Also, bring to the table Arc Green Lantern. He seems to completely negate Nightmare Batman at this moment.
That is important to keep in mind. I mean, that is very much a very strong counter pick that most people did not see clearly, but I think that, at least in Complexity's hands, they managed to do a very good job of that. But right now, I think that we're seeing a little bit of that the other way. I mean, I feel that Complexity did manage to basically break the seal in that base. The question is, what are they going to do? It looks like they're just stripping. They're basically just stripping the urban jungle. And now we're going to see, looks, there it is.
Leviathan.
Now they've called the Leviathan. Now, keep in mind, the other team can see them calling the Leviathan. So the question is, what are they going to do to react to it? Now, I'm betting that Complexity has the ability to see it. They just didn't necessarily know what to do, but it looks like they're not going to be contested.
Looks like they're pinging just to clear out their lines.
Yeah.
They're going to clean the lanes out. Looks like Leviathan is actually going down pretty easily.
Absolutely.
Spaghetti taking it.
And Blue Freeze just moves right in to move right through. But this is what you're seeing is the vision advantage. It's a very strong vision advantage, but it's there. And really, if they try to come out, the fastest man alive would have been waiting for them in their own jungle. And what are you going to do about that? At this stage, Blue Freeze is very, very farmed.
Oh, Spaghetti showing us some nice dance moves.
It looks like Complexity is feeling the confidence. They're dancing to the rhythm of the night.
Oh, Nightman. By the way, that Leviathan not only rewards you with XP and credits, you also get 2 buffs from it. One of them being Leviathan Lockdown, which locks your opponents down for 8 seconds. They become invulnerable to you and anything else, but it allows you to reposition yourselves to get a better better fight. And then you also get the shield that Leviathan gives you, which is like the largest shield in this game that will help save your entire team's lives. It actually has a distance to it that'll not just pop on yourself, but it'll pop for your entire team that's in range of it.
All right. So what I think you're going to see is the way they took that top EMP, they timed it directly with Blue Freeze's back, which meant he grabbed that EMP, and he has it on him right now. Look for that to be placed between both the power core turrets, because that will shut them both down during any prolonged siege. Now, the question is whether or not they're going to be able to force an engage here that's actually advantageous to them. Because it looks like they've got a little fat joke out of position, but you don't want to initiate on him. And there we have it. We saw that engage.
They did Leviathan
They
lockdown.
did. They dropped that right in the middle.
They're trying to get those
Spaghetti
turrets.
dies right up front. But we see Flash decide to trigger. There has been no fatalities on KGO's side as of yet.
They have the shield popped as well, Leviathan shield. No turrets down. This fight is lasting quite a while, though.
It's a 1 for 2 in favor of KGO.
KGO.
But no, it looks like we pop back to life.
Catwoman
and we
running the
converted
wrong
Catwoman.
way.
Those yoga pants did not protect her, and it looks like the damage is real. But oh my, a 2v2.
This
Deanna's not in a good place.
Is not going well.
That fight is not going well for Gaspat. But Gaspat tries to reposition, but no, he has Ra's al Ghul. He is all backed by the demon, and that is all she wrote. Complexity manages to turn this out. The old school shows this is the team that was dominant in the MLG tournaments. Apparently, they are dominant in the open beta display.
Yeah,
and we saw it. Surrender Joker. That's literally what Gaspat said at the end.
It's true. KGO played really well, too. Their Gas Joker 1-1-13. Putting it out there for his team. Maybe didn't have the best ganks early on, but played extremely well.
Again, a factor in over half of their kills. Keep that in mind. You have to add those kills to that assist. That's 14 of their 21. That is 2/3.
Yep.
I mean, that's a big deal. I mean, Salty Kai did a great job there. I mean, the simple fact is based off of just the clear times and the amount of pressure that the rest of his team needed him to provide, he had to make a very hard decision about where to go. And I feel like he made a lot of very good plays that were very key to that team.
I just want to say congratulations to Complexity again. But by the end of this game, also, Salty Kai had the same amount of assists that the enemy jungler had in Spaghetti.
Yeah.
But Spaghetti was able to clear out all the camps so often.
Yep.
Which just turned the favor in Complexity, So, championship belt, Complexity.
Yep.
All the way. Good game.
They went off the top ropes and they decided, no, you're not getting this.
This match is done.
Yep.
You're tapping out or I'm knocking you out.
Yeah, that's true. But either way, I want to say KGO, great job. I mean, it was great. Those were great games to see. I mean, I wish I could watch this kind of stuff all night because I learned stuff as I watched them play.
Yep.
I mean, you see the difference in tactics in terms of each team and what they used. You saw KGO adopted their game plan in order to deal with the variance that Complexity had, and you saw Complexity forced out of their tried and true team comp from the first 2 matches into something that was a little different. But I feel that you saw Spaghetti go on that tear early.